Thank you, Lauren. October is Fire Prevention Month, so in order to get a closer look, we've decided to get a backstage look at a firehouse. We're here at Ladder 13 and Engine 36, right on Hurdle Avenue. We're joined by Jerry Johnson Jr. and Kenyon Clark. Now, to get an idea of what these men and women do to protect the city of Buffalo from fires, we decided to put me in some of their gear. So, Jerry, of course, you're going to break down this gear for me. What are we going to start off with?
Start off, we're going to start with our boots and our pants, which are both connected. Take your shoes off, and you're going to step right into the boots.
So it's as simple as just stepping right into a boot like you would if you were going out in the snow?
Absolutely. You step in 1 foot at a time, and then you pull your pants up next.
Okay, I think I can pull my pants up. I got that. So with this gear, you know, all of it's made with a pretty coarse, heavy fabric. How much does this stuff weigh when you're all geared up?
When it's all dry, it's about 70 pounds.
All right, so we have the pants on. What step is next?
You're going to buckle your pants up, and you're going to put your hood on.
Okay, so what does this hood do for you?
The hood makes sure you don't want any skin exposed at all. So the hood keeps you from getting your neck burned.
So when you're in all of this gear, is it pretty hot?
Oh, it gets hot, especially after the moving around and then the fire. You get pretty hot, so you want to make sure you stay hydrated.
All right, so right now you're putting me into Kenyon's gear, which is a little bit big, right?
Absolutely.
All right, so next comes the coat. What happens here?
You're going to put your coat on, one arm, then the other. We want to button all the buttons, and then you want to buckle all the buckles. You don't want any skin exposed. You don't want any fire getting inside.
So, you know, this whole process is taking a little bit of time for us, but for you guys that are doing it when you get that call, how long does that take?
Only about 30 seconds.
All right, so we're not going to have a chance to buckle all of these gears with the time that we have, so what step is next?
After you go and put your coat on, then you want to go and put your air tank on. Then after your air tank, you're going to put your helmet on.
So fighting fires, I can imagine, can take a long amount of time. So when you put this air tank in and you're about to go into the building, how much time does that give you?
The air tank gives you about 30 minutes of air. Of course, you have to go and control your breathing, but practice makes us better.
So what happens when you get there and it's taking longer than 30 minutes?
If it takes us longer than 30 minutes, we'll get a low air alarm, we'll leave the fire, and then we'll go and change out another clean air bottle, and then we can go right back into the fire and keep on working.
And what we're looking at right now that he's hooking, Kenyon is hooking up, is the fire mask. We're not going to put that in. So is it kind of hard to see? Are your senses a little muted when you have all this gear on?
Well, you can see clearly when you're wearing a mask, as long as there isn't any smoke. But when the smoke is there, you can't see anything. You have to get on your knees and crawl.
And how much time is spent practicing putting all of this on so you can do it as fast and efficiently as possible?
The academy is 3 months long. We're practicing every day that we're out there. So it takes us just about that long to go and get that 30-second mark down pat.
And I want to turn it over to you, Kenyon, because I am wearing your gear, as you can tell by the name on my back. What is the hardest part for you to get ready to go out and fight fires?
The adrenaline and knowing what needs to be done to get whatever we need done to help someone.
All right, well, thank you both for having us in today. Now, this is just a little sneak preview of what they have to go into every day to fight these fires. We're going to come back later on right here to talk a little bit about how you and your family can help prevent fires, of course, for Fire Prevention Month. But right now, Lauren, I'm all dressed up. I'm going to send it back to you.
All right.
Welcome back to Winging It Buffalo Style. Like we said earlier, October is Fire Prevention Month, and we just saw what it takes for the men of Ladder 13 and Engine 36 to get ready when they get that call. We're turning it over to a more serious note. We have Buffalo Fire Commissioner Whitfield and also Mayor Byron Brown. Now, I want to turn it over to you first, Commissioner, because we saw what they have to do to get ready for these calls. So I want to challenge people out there to help prevent these calls from happening. So on our viewer side, what can they be doing to prevent fires?
Well, the first and the easiest thing that they can do is have a working smoke detector. Make sure they have working smoke detectors in their homes. We've had several tragic fires within the city of Buffalo as of late, and several of those fires did not have operational smoke detectors. So the easiest thing that families can do to protect themselves and their loved ones is to have working smoke detectors.
And we've all been in that situation where maybe we're cooking something, there's a little too much smoke from whatever we're cooking or burning, and we just take that fire detector right off the wall, the smoke detector. Is that something we should stop doing immediately?
Absolutely, because oftentimes you forget to put it back. And, if it's not up there, then it can't help you. So we would, ask you to, open the windows, ventilate the room, but leave these smoke detectors in place. Make sure you leave the batteries in them. Oftentimes, people take the batteries out or remove the detector from its place, from its location, and we want them to make sure that they have a working smoke detector if there's a fire. The only way you can do that is by leaving it in place.
An incredibly simple step to prevent something that could be absolutely disastrous. I want to turn it over to you, Mayor Brown, because I didn't know exactly what it takes for these firefighters to do their jobs, and you're in the middle of an open house campaign that gives people that exact learning opportunity that I just had this morning. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, every October during Fire Prevention Month, we do these open houses to expose the members of the community to the work that our firefighters do, to educate them about being fire safe and things that they can do to be fire safe. One of the things that we talk about is them establishing home emergency evacuation plans in the event of a fire in the home, and we found that the open houses have been very well received by the community.
And on the more general sense, for the city of Buffalo, a lot of houses are tightly packed together. So when we're talking about fire prevention, of course we're talking about your home, but we're also talking about your neighbors. Is this something that you want to get across to people too?
Absolutely. The houses in some areas of the city are very close together. The housing stock in some areas is old. And so not only are people educated about protecting themselves and their families, they're educated about protecting their neighbors and their communities as well.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Mayor Brown. And of course, thank you so much for joining us and letting us come here for the morning, Commissioner Whitfield. And again, the last thing we're going to leave with you, you can have those fires, those smoke detectors, but make sure that you're testing them too regularly every month like I just did. But right now, we're going to toss it over to our web producer, Emily Lenahan, who has her reported recap for the day.